Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And we have some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energies happening. We start with the Sun, Mercury. They're together, conjunct CAZIMI. It's where Mercury sits in the heart of the Sun. And it renews how we think, how we speak, our communication. And it's followed by, and that's occurring tomorrow. And then coming up on Saturday, we have Mars conjunct Chiron. So the final healing of the divine masculine in the sign of Aries. And so we have the divine masculine and that healing aspect with Chiron in Aries. Later that same day, we have the new moon in Taurus. So new moons create new opportunities, new energy. Welcome, Alicia. Welcome, Heather. And so let's jump into the current main energies. May is a 5-month. It's nourished while waiting, patience. It's again a reminder that we have everything that we need and to go as guided, to listen, that we're nourished while we're awaiting. And it's really awaiting. It's 13, today's the 13th of May, so we have fellowship, socialize, how connectivity and reaching out, interacting with one another brings about new opportunity and change. Double ones or triple ones, if you really look at it. So this tripling down, doubling and tripling down on the creative, how we create, the divine masculine, and to take action, to initiate. And really, there's this aspect, of course, of the divine feminine. When we double up the ones, it becomes a 2, which is the divine feminine, which is the receptive force. So we have some beautiful energies playing out here. And let's take a look at the new moon in Taurus astrology chart. As you all know, I read the charts intuitively, and instantly what I heard, which was quite interesting, when I looked at this chart for the new moon in Taurus on the 16th of May, was fallout, be damned, and then the word countermeasures. And so fallout, be damned, and this is all going to tie together. You will see how this all ties together. The phrase fallout, be damned carries a strong spiritual connotation of reckless, unwavering commitment to a chosen path, regardless of consequences, divine judgment, or the destruction left in one's wake. So this can apply both in a negative manner, this whole fallout, be damned, ignoring your soul, ignoring the divine, ignoring your intuition. Or it can be that you're so in alignment with it in a positive aspect that it's fall out, be damned, like I'm listening, I'm going as guided, and while it looks like it's counterintuitive to the rest of the world, or the way the, air quotes, the world works, fallout be damned, I'm going as I know to go. And so it can go both directions. So we continue with, it reflects a mindset of intense autonomy, often placing personal desire or a specific goal above moral, ethical, or spiritual consequences. That's in the negative. Or it's this intense autonomy, often placing personal desire or a specific goal after moral, ethical, and spiritual consequences. So it's important to see what the unseen is saying to us is there's this, with this new moon in Taurus, this fallout be damned. Because when we look at the world, we can see a lot of shadow forces that are fallout be damned. They're just railing through without recognizing the moral, the ethical, and the spiritual consequences. So they're highlighting that. But again, new moons are new beginnings, new opportunities. And so it's also to say, to stay centered, to stay true to your center, to your soul, to the moral, ethical, and spiritual consequences, fallout be damned. It's to not compromise. You know, we talk about, they're selling their soul to the devil. Why would we want to live that way? Why would we want to choose that path? And so it's a defiance of consequences. It's to say, fallout be damned is to acknowledge that a chosen action may cause harm, fallout, or incur divine condemnation, damnation, but to proceed anyway. So again, we can see this. I hope that you're seeing, this can be seen in the shadow, the negative, or in the positive. It's human autonomy versus divine will. It represents the ultimate choice of human desire over divine communion, a decision to forge ahead even if it destroys the world around oneself. So in the negative, in the shadow, fallout be damned, it means that we're not listening. Someone's not listening. You're not listening to your soul, to your intuitive wisdom, to your divine connection. And there are consequences to not listening. There are consequences to, air quotes, selling your soul to the devil, versus maintaining your innocence, your purity, your divinity, your goodness, your light. And fallout be damned, I'm not doing that. It's about staying righteous. And righteous meaning in alignment, pure with the divine. And so, and spiritually, this can be seen as a refusal to let fear of the future or fear of judgment dictate current actions. So you can see in the positive, I'm not going to worry about, but in the negative too, it can say, oh, I'm being ignorant. I'm not going to worry about what happens tomorrow, the future, and, the judgment and so forth. Just barreling through, be damned, fallout be damned. And so it really comes about in terms of choices, that this fallout be damned. And then they said countermeasures. Well, countermeasures are an action, device, or policy deployed to counteract, neutralize, or reduce the impact of a threat, attack, or unwanted situation. It is a proactive or reactive step taken to offset risks, commonly used in contexts like cybersecurity, military strategy, and risk management to protect systems or processes. Well, the divine, the unseen, God, the all that is, initiates countermeasures. And so it is this, it's from Sir Isaac Newton, and that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And so as we watch the world before us implode, and it certainly is, the deconstruction and the construction, in the ending is the beginning, in the beginning is the end. And so it's to recognize that the unseen is speaking about with these, the Sun, Mercury, CAZIMI, the Mars conjunct Chiron, how we heal the divine masculine. And remember, that is gender neutral. It doesn't matter whether we're male, female, somewhere in between. It doesn't matter. We all have divine masculine, divine feminine within us. And this Mars conjunct Chiron is this final healing in the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. And so it's speaking to how we finally heal this aspect of ourselves and to recognize, are we operating in the shadow or the light? Because this fallout be damned can be positive when we're operating within the light, in this unity and alignment of the new, the divine feminine, the Aquarian age, we the people, this era where a tide lifts all boats. Or it can be in the negative, in the shadow, the fallout be damned. And yet, for every action, there's an equal reaction. And so, and countermeasures, that the unseen, it's like, you know, they're showing me Star Wars and these epic battles that take place of good versus evil. And how, of course, from scripture and other, we know that the light wins. Ultimately, the light prevails. The light wins. Goodness prevails. And yet, individually, collectively, and yet, you know, we have free will. We have this opportunity to choose our path, to choose how we experience, how we contribute to the collective, to our lives, and what the ripple effect of that energy is. And it's not to forget, like a boomerang, you know, the energy ripples out, but which means and yet it's coming back to us. And so in this fallout be damned and countermeasures, it's to be mindful of our choices, our energy, our words, our deeds, our actions. Because number one, from the unseen is, it's not over till it's over. And then they said, seen beyond what's in front of you. So again, so many times the shadow aspect is chosen with short-sightedness, not, you know, fallout be damned, not looking at what the repercussions are, what the fallout from these choices may be. It's about instant gratification. It's about lack. And yet when we stay in the light within our centered unity, welcome Colleen, and we stay in that groundedness, then our choices, our energy, everything reflects a more future forward, future looking, this longevity of life, of choices, of goodness, and how that ripple effect, that boomerang, is coming back to us in a positive way. So there's a lot of positive versus negative, you know, yin versus yang, in the sense of its shadow. And what are we choosing? Because the unseen is saying it's not over till it's over. Seeing beyond what's in front of you. So it's looking past the surface, pull back to see the bigger picture, so that the choices that we make individually and collectively reflect this utopia that we all want. When I say all, there are those that don't want this, or their utopia is one that is skewed. It's of shadow, it's of goo. And thereby, most people, most humans on the planet don't want that version or that octave of air quotes utopia. They want the purity of utopia, the goodness of it. And with new beginnings, new opportunities. Let's take a look at our main overall theme. And our main overall theme is movement, liberation from the past. And you'll see in this, we're working with the colors purple and the colors blue. Divine purple, divine feminine, it's royalty. Blue, divine masculine, it's royalty. And you see in the image the shimmering light on water, the movement of water. It's movement. It's liberation from the past, where the water begins, precipitation and so forth, and the rain falls, and then it collects and it goes into streams and rivers and bodies of water. But it moves, and it all moves, migrates towards the ocean, to then be, of course, it put into the collective and then drawn back up. This ripple. So we have Movement, liberation from the past. Movement in a spiritual context symbolizes transition, transformation, and obedience to divine will. Yes, we have free will. So of free will, we can choose to be obedient to divine will, to our soul source connection. That can be an active, positive choice that we choose every day, in every instance. Somebody wants us to do something illicit, we say no. We have a choice to say no. Fall out, be damned. No, I will not succumb to that shadow energy. No, I will not become this shadow energy. No, I will not surround myself with this shadow energy. I'm going to stand in the light, movement, liberation from the past. And the waters, where they begin and where they end, are two different places, and yet they come full circle to continue the process, the journey. It's never the same. It's just like astrology. It's cyclical, not identical. And thus the waters, it's cyclical, not identical. So movement in a spiritual context symbolizes transition, transformation, and obedience to divine will, representing the active journey, active choices, active journey of the soul, rather than mere physical activity. Seeing beyond the surface. It's not over till it's over. Seeing beyond what's in front of you. It signifies breaking free from stagnation, growing closer to the divine, and allowing the spirit to guide one's life. It's about transformation and growth. Movement represents leaving behind old ways, symbolized by Exodus, to move toward a higher state of being, spiritual maturity, and destiny. This is about learning from our choices. Remember, there are no mistakes, only choices. So this is about learning from our choices. And how do we move closer to the divine, to divine will, not further away from it? Closer to the light, being one with the light, not further away from it. Welcome, Olivia. It's also about, and so it brings about a higher state of being, spiritual maturity, and destiny. It's about divine guidance. It signifies responding to a divine call and trusting in the divine's direction over comfort. So, fall out, be damned. This is what my soul is telling me to do. Not my ego, mind, personality, human. My knowing, my soul, my deep intuition. I know to do this or not do this. And I listen, and I do so over the comfort or through the discomfort. Because again, there are times where we can't tangibly see, but we know. And it's to follow, it's to listen to that. Allow your soul, the divine, to move you forward to movement. And movement, by the way, it was all capital letters, and it's like exclamation points. It's a statement. It wasn't quiet or passive. The unseen is speaking about the word movement, like actionary, and big action can just be loud, like it's a command. There will be movement. There is movement. That's what they're articulating. It's also about active life and hope. As long as there is spiritual movement, there is hope. A lack of movement indicates spiritual stagnation or atrophy, where fear restricts growth. So, of course, the only thing that ever gets in our way is the human, the ego, mind, personality, our human gets in the way. Why? Because the ego, the human, the personality, fear gets in the way, and fear restricts growth. And then expression of the spirit. Spirit motion can be erratic and uncontrollable, like wind, representing the soul being moved by divine energy. This is speaking to the fact that it's not always a direct, linear path. There can be twists and turns. It can be about you go here to go here to go here. It's our willingness to follow, be led. Hexagram 17, follow, be led by your soul. Because again, your soul knows the highest octave of your being, of your purpose, of what you came to Earth in this incarnation to do, to experience. And again, it's only our human that will block that or prevent that or get in the way. Key aspects are spiritual restlessness, a deep internal push to find purpose, meaning, and a closer connection to the divine. It can be about spontaneous movement, instances where the body vibrates, shakes, or moves uncontrollably during prayer or meditation, often associated with a surge of energy during a spiritual awakening. How the unseen speaks to you, through you. So through meditation, through knowing, listening, through walks in nature, water magnifies and amplifies the messages. So how this can happen, it can be spontaneous. And it's movement as stewardship, a why, a strong enough why, enough to overcome apathy and take steps toward fulfilling a divine mandate. So again, it can be so loud, so powerful, your knowing, your intuition, what presents itself, that you just know to do it. Fall out, be damned, movement. And that there are always countermeasures, like the divine is always countering. If you notice, the divine is always, when the human overrides the soul, the divine, it's like this incredible, it's like a GPS system, a God positioning satellite is what I call it. And all of a sudden the deck shuffles and everything's going, and it's going, okay, and like a car's GPS, it's trying to get you back onto, it's rerouting you, it's wanting you to get back on the main route or the main direction. That main route, that main guidance is the easiest, quickest, most efficient path. It knows where to go, how to get there, what to do. And so it's always pulling us to true north. Free will. Are we listening? Do we choose to listen and hear it? So this is movement. And then we have liberation from the past. Liberation from the past is the spiritual process of detaching from egoic, karmic, or traumatic conditioning to live entirely in the present moment. It means releasing the mental, emotional, and social bonds of, quote, who you thought you were, and past choices, enabling a state of conditional peace, self-awareness, and joy. This is about the masks, the identities, the labels, the stories, the scripts, the experiences, or the identification with, I am this because I had this experience, that's who I am. Or this is the astrology in my chart, and see, that's how I came in. It's moving beyond. It's seeing beyond what's in front of you, what's on the surface, to receive the deeper wisdom, the deeper pearls that are imbued in all of this. It's freedom from the ego mind. It is the liberation of the true conscious self from the egoic mind's talons, which often control perception through past fears and identities. It's about karmic release. It involves breaking free from recurring cycles of negativity or habitual patterns, karma, which is achieved not by forgetting, but by stopping them from influencing the present moment. This is about stop and pivot. The minute you realize that you are doing something karmic, habitual, you have a choice in that moment to recognize it, recognize that you're doing it, recognize what your automatic choices would be. Oh, I would normally do this, and then stop and pivot. Choose something else. Choose something that will shift that energy, that to a more pure, heightened octave, so that, because again, we're healing. This is Mars and Chiron conjunct together. We're healing the divine masculine, the shadow aspects, to return to a state of purity of the two, of unity, of wholeness. However, we must heal the shadow aspects of the divine masculine. And it will articulate, if my divine masculine is too much, that means my divine feminine is too little. If my divine masculine is too little, it means my divine feminine is too much. We're looking for yin yang, harmony, balance, unity, oneness, healing and integration. Instead of surpassing past trauma, this spiritual path calls for facing, understanding, and integrating past experiences with self-compassion. Everything is purposeful. Even the most challenging aspects in life are purposeful. It's a choice to decide, to discern and decide, will I look below? Will I see beyond what's in front of me? Will I look beyond the surface? It leads to the dissolution of mental obstacles, such as feelings of inadequacy, lack, harm, not being good enough. Because each person shows up to play their role in our lives. And as painful as that can be, it can be glorious, it can be painful, brutal. And yet, do we choose to see beyond? Number 2 from the unseen, what lies beyond? Do we choose to see beyond the surface to get to what lies beyond? And they said, be ready as new forms of existence take form, shape, and hold. So what lies beyond this moment, where we've been? We've got movement, liberation from the past. New moon in Taurus, it's grounded. It's an earth sign. Taurus is an earth sign. And the unseen is saying to us, number 2, the divine feminine, what lies beyond, ... Be ready as new forms of existence take form, shape, and hold. There are going to be game changers, both, extraordinary and ordinary, like tangible, touchable change, new forms of existence, like the way, look at how there are those that are showing up to say, we can do better. Institutions, governments, things like that, and they're changing how they're operating. And it's bringing about a whole new form of existence. That will also apply to the greater metaphysical, spiritual nature of what we see. And thereby, how does it change? What new forms of existence take form, shape, and hold? Because again, we've got fallout be damned, countermeasures. The unseen, the all that is, the divine, is initiating countermeasures because, again, remember, all as above, so below, all the outer planets shifted into new signs. They are harmonically working together, that beautiful mini grand trine that's playing out. All of this is for us, for the whole of the whole, for humanity. And thereby, it's this epic battle of good versus evil, which has been playing out for some time, light versus dark, and the countermeasures that get initiated to ensure the outcome. It's already told to us that the outcome is assured. We're literally walking through the process of it, the experience of it, and the unseen is saying, now be mindful of your contribution, of your choices, of your energetic ripple. Because 8 billion souls, and we're just, this universe, this cosmos, but we're all interconnected. And so how are your individual choices, energies, your mindset, contributing to your individual ripple and the collective ripple? Colleen is saying it has to be better than this. Yes, and it is. And the outcome is assured. We know this. However, as we've said, that chained down dragon and its head and neck wailing and flailing before that swift, and the neck and the head are, removed. This decapitation. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that because there's an astrological aspect that's occurring with the star Algol in the head of Medusa. And so this aspect of how the neck of the dragon, the head and neck of the dragon get lopped off. And it's about living in the now. It means ceasing to be imprisoned by feelings or memories from the past and anxiety about the future, enabling the individual to experience life as a witness, observing thoughts without becoming involved. This is, we are not our experiences, we are the custodian of those experiences. We have divine will, soul source connection, and we have free will. How we place free will in service to divine will so that we can observe our experiences and not become them. It's the beautiful quote, allow your life experiences to refine you, not define you. So this is about moving past the surface, and it's not over till it's over. And this movement, this liberation from the past. And Colleen is saying, laughing out loud, too much responsibility. And yet it's yes, and yet it's no. No, it's not. It takes great depth to choose to listen, choose to refine, choose to be the custodian of the experience, not become it. But it all comes down, once we realize it's really about choice. It's always about choice. And the beauty is, here's this beautiful original intelligence, this soul source connection, the soul, the divine, the unseen, guiding 8 billion plus souls on the planet masterfully. The greatest, simplest choices, and are we listening? Are we going as guided, or are we detouring, bucking the system? Are we letting our human override our divinity? And lastly, it's about detachment. Liberation is the conscious decision to drop mental attachments to past accolades. There's those stories, scripts, labels, identities, masks, belongings. So these past accolades or injuries, experiences, often described as a form of sacrifice or inner freedom from compulsion. So it's about, are we consciously choosing to liberate ourselves? Liberation from the past. We are not our past experiences. We are not our past choices. They are all purposeful, no matter how challenging and dark they may be. Somewhere within them, the soul masterfully crafted that experience so that the soul transmutes, transcends, ascends to a higher octave of experience, of being. It's not always pretty, but it doesn't mean that it's not purposeful. So just bringing up the image again, movement, liberation from the past. And we have this beautiful quote that's said by Martha Graham that says, nothing is more revealing than movement. When you think of like the beauty of a dancer in the dance, or, a sport, or, somebody playing the cello, or the fluidity of water, the movement, living waters, the movement of water. Nothing is more revealing than movement. And you can see in this image of just this beautiful fluidity and the colors and the nuances and everything that are being formed and shaped and revealed in it. And that's what we're speaking to here, is this movement, liberation from the past. It's not over until it's over. So again, deconstruction, construction, and that what lies beyond. Be ready as new forms of existence take form, shape, and hold. So be open to receive, be open to change, and be open to movement. Number 3 from the unseen is piercing, quote, the veil of illusion. We see, they underline this, we see for the very first time. It's nothing short of extraordinary. This again is speaking to what becomes piercing the veil. And remember, when Master Jesus, the splitting of the tapestry of the veil in the tabernacle, that's what allowed humanity to have a direct connection to the divine, to God, to the divine. Well, this piercing the veil of illusion, so much of these last 2,000 plus years, or perhaps 5,000 years or 6,000 years, what we've been told, what's historical, what we've been told versus what's been concealed, hidden. And once we pierce the veil of illusion, we see, there's clarity in this, we see for the very first time. It's nothing short of extraordinary. So that says there's nothing to fear. So do not buy into fear. Do not buy into hysteria, fear, worry, all of this. Again, stay centered and look for what is being revealed so that we can see it for the very first time. We can understand it. It'll be a knowing. It will speak to us. Again, it won't be a human aspect. That may get triggered. That may come about. However, the issue is about recognizing, okay, hold on. Now let's see beyond what's on the surface. Let's sit with the truth that is going to be revealed. Because the truth will set you free, right? The truth reveals. And this is all about what gets revealed. It's about where we are, meaning where we're going. These beautiful opportunities. We're going to jump to astrologer Juliana McCarthy from etherealculture.com, and she's speaking about the astrology of May 2026, eruption and awakening. So see, you can see the eruption of things, the piercing of the veil, which creates new beginnings, which creates awakening, awareness. So Juliana McCarthy, etherealculture.com. May is a pivotal month filled with eruptions and awakenings. Pluto and Uranus, the great planetary disruptors, dominate the sky, initiating irreversible change. We begin the month with a charged Scorpio full moon that took place on the 1st of May. Whatever we have suppressed within our bodies, relationships, or words finds its way out. This is Mars conjunct Chiron, healing the divine masculine. It's also the Sun-Mercury CAZIMI, how we think, communicate, articulate things. Mercury represents celluloid, things that are recorded in perpetuity. So whatever we've suppressed within our bodies, relationships or words, finds its way out. Pluto then stations retrograde, that occurred on May 6th, intensifying pressure while turning our attention toward patterns we've been clinging to the past, their expiration dates. So Pluto is going to be retrograde for about 5 months. It began May 6th, and it's intensifying the pressure to turn inward, to look at our patterns. What are our choices? Patterns are choices. They're habitual. And where we've been clinging to something that's past its expiration date. The month's most auspicious transit arrives on May 16th. That's coming up, when a gorgeous Taurus new moon forms conjunct Mercury and Uranus while sextile, harmonious aspects, sextiling Jupiter and Cancer. We may feel uplifted now as opportunities reveal themselves, things being revealed, and doors open easily. So where we've just been slogging along or really searching for change and desiring change and opportunity and uplifting, it's arriving. Here it is. So we may feel uplifted now as opportunities reveal themselves and doors easily open. Simultaneously, Mars makes its final conjunction together to Chiron in Aries, the last in this sign for decades. This marks a long-awaited close to years of healing our wounds around identity, confidence, desire, and masculinity. We are ready to turn the corner and find our way back to ourselves and more loving connections. As the month progresses, the air becomes electric. Mercury enters Gemini on May 17th and conjoins together with Uranus, followed by the Sun. This is the first Gemini season with Uranus present. So Uranus is in Gemini. So this is the first Gemini season with Uranus present in nearly 80 years. We're quickening our thoughts, communication, and perception while new connections snap into place. The way we've oriented toward life begins to feel lighter, less fixed, more alive. Movement, living waters, this flow, being in the flow, which brings about an electricity, an alive. It's no longer stagnant or stuck. It's going to be very fluid and electric. On May 26th, Pluto, the lord of the underworld, squares Mars, the divine masculine, and trines the sun, life force, calling for a final deep layer of spring cleaning, this releasing. The planets are reaching into the depths of our fears and psyches to shake them out. Remember, it's the mandrakes from Harry Potter. We're being uprooted from this small pot to be transplanted into a much larger pot. There is disturbance. There is discomfort. There is dis-ease, meaning, it's uncertainties, fear. However, just like any great, when you transplant a plant, it kind of goes into shock for a little bit, few days or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like it takes root in its new surroundings, in its new environment. New forms of existence take hold, form, and shape. And then it thrives. It requires care. It requires attention. And if you've ever noticed, you can Google on YouTube and search on YouTube and see, take plants, flowers, plants, living plants and flowers and so forth, place them towards positive energy, music, vibrations, they thrive. Put them next to play, disharmonic, negative things, they wilt, they shrivel, they die. It's documented. You can see it. If that's happening to plants, it's happening to you. It's happening to our human. So it matters. The people, the places, the things, the energies, the words, all of this matters. And when we place it, this is where, we're either coming to life, we're blossoming and thriving, or we're shrinking and dying. It's one of the two. So the planets are reaching into the depths of our fears and psyches to shake them out. Confrontations may arise, but they're helping expose the last major truths we're still hiding from, while stripping us down to our most authentic selves and desires. Because the unseen in these energies, the future, the matriarchal Aquarian we the people age, it wants the best of us and for us and from us. It wants the best. The best is the highest octave, the most pure, the most authentic, the most true. What we came here to do, to be, to bear witness to. A second full moon, a blue moon, a second full moon arrives in Sagittarius on May 31st, trining Neptune and Saturn in Aries. A trine is a harmonious aspect in astrology. By now, something has genuinely shifted. We feel different in body and perspective. This is what Uranus and Pluto are offering us. Change that we felt coming for so long, but was never quite reachable. We may even start to forget the struggles that got us here, like the pain of labor dissolving after giving birth. The textures of our new orientation are so vivid and present that we can barely remember what came before. So the textures of our new orientation. What lies beyond? Be ready as new forms of existence take form, shape, and hold. So they will be, this new orientation is so vivid, is so present, so new, so unknown to us, that we can barely remember what came before. Old demons may try to rear their heads, but they have no life here. The old is over. And it is number 5. 5 denotes change from the unseen. And they literally said, the old, and then they put in parens, empire. And this can be not a singular, they're speaking to empire as in globally, not as in here's an empire, here's an empire, here's an empire. They're saying the old empire, the way this was constructed, crumbles, falls, collapses. And they said, beware of falling debris. I'm going to come to debris in a second. I want to finish up with Juliana McCarthy at etherealculture.com. So old demons may try to rear their heads, but they have no life here. The new frequencies won't allow them to breathe, much less torment us. Our excitement and the vast breadth of possibilities are sparkling and ready to grow brighter still, even amid the chaos of enormous change. The deconstruction is going to continue simultaneously while the construction takes hold, begins, continues. In the midst of eruption and awakening, may we trust that what has been falling away is nearly finished. May we answer the beaming light calling us through doors that were open all along. So this is where Colleen's saying, all I need healed and everything. Yes, so the old empire, the old, and then parens empire, crumbles, falls, collapses. Beware of falling debris. Debris refers to scattered pieces of waste, rubbish, or the remains of something that has been broken, destroyed, or demolished. It commonly signifies rubble, wreckage, or litter, such as broken glass after a crash, ruins after a disaster, or scattered tree branches after a storm. It is the leftover material from an explosion, accident, or destruction. The unseen is speaking here. It's number 5 about change. That the old empire crumbles, falls, collapses. Beware of falling debris. Falling debris can be people, places, things, ways of life, thoughts, emotions, leaders. So it's to recognize movement, liberation from the past. The old is collapsing, deconstruction. The old is collapsing. The new is being constructed. It's present. We can see beyond. We must, in order to really receive it all, we must see beyond the surface. We must be open to what is arriving, what is beyond where we are, how it will be different, how it may be revelatory, like we've never experienced. It's extraordinary. It's something that we've not experienced before. And yet, beware of falling debris. Be mindful of the people, the places, the things that you are releasing, letting go of, and not allowing debris falling, not letting that fall on you, attack you, harm you. Move past it, move through it, move beyond it, so that you're in open, wonderful, blue skies and, whatever the image is, an open field, but there's not debris falling on you, because that debris can be people, places, things, ways of life, emotions, thoughts, leaders, these types of things. Now let's move to Astrology by Lauren, and she is speaking about hope in the midst of change. She begins with a quote by King Whitney Jr. Change has a considerable psychological impact on the human mind. To the fearful, it is threatening because it means that things may get worse. To the hopeful, it is encouraging because things may get better. To the confident, it is inspiring because the challenge exists to make things better. So, Astrology by Lauren. We are in rare times. All the major outer planets have recently changed signs. Entering new territory, we suddenly find ourselves trying to get our footing. But by virtue of these outer planets shifting together, is that they are doing so in uniquely supportive ways. That's that mini grand trine and everything. Neptune in Aries will sextile Pluto in Aquarius through 2036. When they begin to separate a bit by degree, its impact on the collective could feel like a correction, putting a greater emphasis on local community-focused initiatives that can literally change the world from the bottom up. We're seeing this. I just saw an article about Mayor Mondami coming into office with a 12 billion, with a B, billion deficit. And everyone said, you have to cut services, you have to cut. And he said, no, we're going to collectively work with the state, collectively look at the budget for, waste and where we can do better. And we're going to implement a taxation where everyone is paying, contributing. Boom. No deficit. Balanced budget. Zero. This is about community-focused initiatives that can literally change the world from the bottom up. Do the powers that be, does the past energy, does the shadow of the divine masculine, the patriarchal, like this plan? Of course not. No. Because they didn't have to contribute. Fallout be damned, who cares? But the people care. God, the divine, cares. What is slated for humanity, this higher octave, cares. And so it changes from the bottom up. It's literally a new way of seeing ourselves and our relationship to one another. One thing that may become more apparent is how we are all swimming in this great ocean of life together, and that together we can make a difference. We are our brothers and sisters' keeper. This isn't about, redistribution of wealth or, it's about recognizing the illusions, piercing the veil of illusions, recognizing where the systems have not been correct, appropriate, or equal. The powers that be want the status quo, but the status quo is atrophy, stagnation, imbalance, disharmony, and thus the tipping scale of humanity, as above, so below, the countermeasures, it's all exposing it, and the people are awakening to this opportunity to say, I just want a fair shake. I want a happy life. I want to live in a way that opportunity is limitless on an equal field of opportunity. So the matriarchal Aquarian, we the people age is exposing the height of the goo to transmute it, to shift humanity forward to what one heaven on earth, a utopia that says, everyone, we're in this together. Everyone come to the table. And once humanity releases the fear, the attachment to the old way, they'll receive the new. They'll see, oh, this is limitless and abundant. I pursue it in a new manner, in a different way. However, like Juliana McCarthy was speaking to, those old octaves, vibes, energies, ways, that illicitness, that shadow, doesn't work over here. We've talked about that a lot. That dog don't hunt in the new. It will not work. And so as we shift forward, the old is clinging to the past, and the bulk of humanity, and certainly the unseen, is vibrating, shifting to the new. So, Astrology by Lauren, Uranus, now in Gemini, is trine Pluto and sextile Neptune for the next few years. Inventive, brilliant. Uranus dares to show us that we don't have to keep doing things the way we always have in the past. That there are better, more innovative ways of doing things that could literally transform the society that we live in. Once again, this is only further strengthened by our recognition of our interconnection with one another socially, economically, and globally. And I would add spiritually. One body. This becomes ever more intense as we approach July, when all three planets, joined by Jupiter, so we're talking about Uranus, Pluto, and Jupiter, will all be at 4 degrees of their signs. It will become exact, meaning again exact together at the same degree, in 2027 at 6 degrees of their signs. So you see how this is playing out. And there's long-term effect. We're talking about 2027, 2036. And we are being brought along for the ride. As above, so below. These are transits of change, of innovation, of possibility, of hope. Jupiter's opposition to Pluto will be the catalyst as shifts in power are becoming intolerable. This is a collective change, but we will all be participating in this exonerable effort when humanity as a whole dares to take that step on to the next plateau, that next octave of our evolutionary journey. And she concludes with a quote by Barack Obama, President Barack Obama: "Hope in the face of difficulty, hope in the face of uncertainty, the audacity of hope. In the end, that is God's greatest gift to us, a belief in things not seen, a belief that there are better days ahead." We have this opportunity, and what lies ahead? It's number 4 from the unseen. We had this a few shows back, and they said, picture perfect you. You've waited for this a very long time. You've awaited this a very long time. This picture perfect you, this picture perfect us, utopia, heaven on earth. And they said, rejoice. And it's our third quote that says, those who follow as life flows know they need no other force. This is Lao Tzu. So those who those who flow as life flows know they need no other force. This is about being in the flow with your soul source connection, your divinity, the unseen. Those who flow as life flows know they need no other force. This is saying we don't need anything other than our soul source connection, our GPS. And this is what leads us to this beautiful picture perfect you, this change. Number 6 from the unseen, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Number 6 is about spirit and service, flow, unity. I can see clearly now. When we listen and go as guided, live through, divine masculine in service to divine feminine, creative force in service to receptive force, ego, mind, personality, human in service to soul, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. The clouds lift. The fuzzy, the disconnection, the illusion, all of this goo dissipates, goes away. We're looking finally at North Point Journal. This is Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, and she's speaking about the new moon in Taurus. A new lunar cycle begins at 1 p.m. on Saturday, May 16th, when the sun and the moon rendezvous at 25 degrees 57 arc minutes of Taurus. This is a highly significant new moon, strengthened by its close conjunctions with Ceres and Mercury in late Taurus, and by its proximity to Uranus and Sedna in early Gemini. The sign of the bull is associated, Taurus, the sign of the bull is associated with stability, sustainability, our connection to nature, our capacity for self-reliance, and other practical concerns. With the new moon tightly conjunct together with nurturing Ceres and conjunct together with messenger Mercury, there may be news or communications regarding food sources, nutrition, the environment, and other tangibles that we rely upon. At the same time, surprising insights, unexpected events, or sudden awakenings are possible due to the activation of Uranus and Sedna. Together, these two planets initiate a process of liberation, movement, liberation from the past. So they initiate a process of liberation, transformation, and breakthroughs. With their alignment occurring in Gemini, the twins, we are breaking free from limiting mindsets, letting go of old stories, and learning to speak our truth. The energies of the Uranus-Sedna conjunction are building throughout this month, leading up to their exact alignment on May 24th. Saturday's new moon will also activate the fixed star Algol, which is currently at about 26 degrees, 30 arc minutes of Taurus. Algol is a binary star in the Perseid constellation. In ancient astrology, the star was seen as an omen of misfortune, destruction, and chaos and extreme events. Most modern astrologers agree that Algol's activation, so when a planet activates it or is next to it, conjuncts it, or aspects it, often corresponds with intense transformational times when suppressed emotions rise to the surface and some encounter their own inner demons. The star is located in the part of the constellation that forms the head of Medusa. So figuratively, we may see some people, quote, losing their heads. We're talking about the dragon and its head, its neck getting decapitated, sliced off, representing the old, or being incapacitated in some way. So figuratively, we may see some people losing their heads or being incapacitated in some way. However, there are some very positive modern interpretations of Algol/Medusa. Specifically, the star represents feminine strength when faced with patriarchal oppression and the ability to rise above victimization. Synchronistically, these same qualities are associated with dwarf planet Sedna, which is also in the spotlight at the new moon and throughout the new lunar cycle. So we have this beautiful opportunity. There is a major transformation, change, breakthroughs occurring. It is simultaneously occurring as the collapse of the old occurs, the deconstruction of the past. The unseen is speaking so loudly about all capital letters, movement. It's not subtle. It's not a suggestion. It's not quiet. It's loud. It's formidable. It's prominent. Movement. Liberation from the past. Fallout be damned. Countermeasures. It's not over till it's over. Seeing beyond what's in front of you. And this piercing of the veil, we see for the very first time, it's nothing short of extraordinary. For millennia, the powers that be have not wanted the masses to see beyond the veil, to know the truth. Because that means liberation, empowerment. That means their power collapses because it's been manipulated, controlled. It's inauthentic. It's artificial. And when the truth of that is revealed, exposed, it awakens humanity. It awakens the soul. It takes us back to Master Jesus at the temple, tossing the tables, saying to the powers that be of the temple, you bar from the people what is rightfully theirs. What is rightfully theirs? The Father, the divine, the connection to the divine, their divinity. And he said, don't pray in public and do all of this public stuff. Go in the solitude of your closet and pray alone. Speak to the Father alone. This is where your soul source connection, your direct empowerment resides. It's ever present, and thereby it delivers us. Last but not least, we have our key word, which is clarity, spiritual clarity. And spiritual clarity is the profound understanding of one's inner truth, purpose, and connection to a higher power or cosmic reality. It involves seeing life beyond ego, beyond fear or worldly noise, allowing for conscious, aligned decision-making. This state often includes recognizing the divine's will, understanding one's true essence, and discerning truth from deception. And our mantra is fearless, not afraid. It's to be fearless. Fearless, fallout be damned, fearless when we are aligned with our soul source connection and we're going as guided. Fearless, not afraid. And lastly, number 7 from the unseen, they said, onward Christian soldiers, the greatest act of defiance. So onward Christian soldiers, the greatest act of defiance this army of and for good and light over evil, or light over darkness, good over evil. And onward Christian soldiers. In the 1912 Progressive National Convention, which nominated Theodore Roosevelt for president in the 1912 United States presidential election, the song was adopted by the delegates as their anthem, and Roosevelt said that his Progressive Party was going to, quote, battle for the Lord. When Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt met in August of 1941 on the battleship HMS Prince of Wales to agree to the Atlantic Charter, a church service was held for which Prime Minister Churchill chose the hymns. He chose Onward Christian Soldiers and afterwards made a radio broadcast explaining this choice. Quote, "We sang Onward Christian Soldiers, indeed, and I felt that this was no vain presumption, but that we had the right to feel that we were serving a cause for the sake of which a trumpet has sounded from on high. This trumpet of clarity, of awakening, of calling us forward for the humanity, for the betterment of humanity, the betterment of all. When I looked upon the densely packed congregation of fighting men of the same language, of the same faith, of the same fundamental laws, of the same ideals, it swept across me that here was the only hope, but also the sure hope of saving the world from measureless degradation." The song was also sung at the funeral of American President Dwight D. Eisenhower at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. in March of 1969. Apart from its obvious martial associations, the song has been associated with protest against the established order, particularly in the case of the civil rights movement. We are in a moment of civil rights, human rights, equality, this up-leveling, this utopia, this new, pure, equal playing field. And the unseen is saying to us, onward, Christian soldiers. Christian is Christ-like, to be Christ, anointed one, purity. So remove this from a religion standpoint, a religious denomination. The spiritual message within it is the same. Rise to the purity of your being, of your divinity, of your octave, of this new era before us. And it's a movement that instills hope and determination and pride and vitality because it's of the greatest of us all. It's this highest octave of humanity, heaven on earth. And it's a choice. Will you choose it? Will I choose it? Will we choose it? It's destined. It's a fait accompli. We know this. The light prevails. It's simply a choice of where are we, you, us, on that path. Are we on the right side of history? Can't wait to see you all next. Thank you all so much for your love, your energy, and your presence, and your time, your contributions, your comments. Can't wait to see what the unseen has in store for us next. Until then, be well and keep choosing wisely. We'll see you next week.